There's a couple of ways to recruit that I just want to remind you of here. No question, one way is first-line recruiting. But there's also what's called secondary recruiting. So my goal always was, after I went through my circle of influence, doing every single thing I could to try to first-line recruit, which meant I was doing everything, by the way. And for those of you that don't do everything, you should at least know everything as leaders so that you can pass out the menu to everybody. What do I mean by that? Some of you, if you don't ever learn this, fine. Can you get rich without what I'm telling you? Yes. Can you get richer with what I'm going to tell you? No question about it. Some of you are good at only handing out flyers. That's what you are good at. Some of you are good at only doing flyers to get first-line recruiting going on. Some of you are good at only getting people in front of the HBN network, and that's what's making it happen for you. Some of you are good at just getting people one-on-one. You do presentations one-on-one, okay? And that's what gets you first-line recruiting. Some of you are good at doing this mailing program that you got going on, okay? This direct mail response deal that some of you are doing out here in the audience. And that's what's making it score for you, okay? There's a lot of different things. Some of you only recruit off your buttons. But I'll tell you what you're going to make a big mistake at as leaders if you don't know. Knowing the menu. See, if you only continually be good at flyers, and that's all you ever tell anybody about, flyers, 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 guess what? Out of 10 people, there's going to be 7 of them that don't like flyers, that join your companies. And there's going to be, because they're all going to be different types. Some are going to like flyers. Some are going to like ads. Some are going to like one-on-one. Some of them are going to like the buttons. Some are going to like watching the television set. Some of them are going to like doing one-on-ones or using the direct mailing program. They're all going to like doing different things. And unless you know the menu, your advantages go way down on how you can attract people to the company. So make sure that you, even if you're not using the menu, that you know how to tell somebody about the menu. See, it doesn't make any difference if you don't use the menu. See, there's lots of stuff, myself personally, I wouldn't do. I wouldn't do it. I couldn't do this direct mail program that some of you are doing. I couldn't do it. Me personally. That doesn't mean it's bad. It just means that I wouldn't do it. Okay? Me personally, I love the flyers. Me personally, I love the advertisements. Advertisements is how I built my business. Okay? Talking first line here right at the moment. That's what I love to do. But that's not the only thing I teach. Because if I did, guess what some people would have not done? Ads and flyers. Because some of my people didn't have the money to do the ads. Some of them were scared to answer the telephones. But they would put on their button because it was already in their kit and paid for. And they actually got to the president's team through the button retailing the product. And they mostly retailed the product and then turned them into distributors and got to the top. And that's how they got to the top. So make sure, as leaders, when you're doing your training classes, that you know enough about the menu so that you can attract every kind of person that there is, so that you can put them all on stage, so that they can all tell the results of the different parts of the menu, so that somebody in the audience says, I like that. If that guy can do it, I can do it. That's a secret. Now see, make sure that you get that one. Because if you don't get the menu, it's not that you can't get rich. It just means that you're not going to get rich as quick. Why has Mark Hughes been able to become so incredibly wealthy? Because I am so incredibly free and loose oriented. I'm not fixed to anything. It doesn't make any difference to me as long as it's ethical, as long as it's not against the law, as long as it's not tricking somebody, as long as it's got to do with using the products. Wearing something means anything. A button, a cap, a flyer, a sign, it doesn't make any difference. It's the concept. And as long as you're talking, talking to me means anything that's talking. Talking means talking. So, but if you get fixed to something, I've heard people say to me, well, listen, bad deal, bad deal, bad deal about this direct mail program and stuff like that. Hey, there's nothing wrong with a mailing program, okay? There's nothing wrong with it, okay? There's nothing wrong with this particular method of operation or that method of operation or this method of operation. Here's the only problem that there ever is with any particular method of operation, is if you start doing something other than what's in the philosophy. For instance, like trying to change the marketing concept. In other words, you add something to the marketing plan or add something extra to the concept that tries to make you some little extra money someplace, somehow, somewhere. Like, for instance, maybe books and tapes, okay? And you start making that one of the issues of your program, and you make that one of the big deals instead of using the products, wearing the button, and talking to people. Or making money on the meetings. Or making money any other way. See, as long as you keep it flexible and it stays within the concept, that's important. Because then you're able to get anybody. And that means when I say talk about this philosophy, I'm very serious about it, okay? Because anything that you do outside of the norm, okay, other than using, wearing, and talking, you're going to make a serious mistake. Making anything other than the issue of those three things, and you're going to make a mistake, okay? You could say use, wear, talk, and then religion, religion, religion. I don't care what your religious beliefs are, okay? Have every kind of religious belief you want to. But if you start making that part of your pitch, okay, and you start making that part of your program, guess who you just didn't get? We have one mission here in Herbalife, if you haven't recognized it. It is making a better world for people to live in. Taking better nutrition to the world, okay? That is our mission statement, okay? Everybody's got the freedom of believing in everything that they want, okay? But it's not use the products, wear the button, use the products, wear the button, talk to people, and see the Pope. Okay? Because when it's use the products, wear the button, talk to people, see the Pope, guess who you're not going to get? The Jewish community. You see? The Arabics that are going to be involved in the company. Okay? Any kind of person that you want to talk about. It's freedom of your choice to do with whatever your life that you want it to be. But if you really want to affect the world, you've got to be loose about it and not put out your other hang-ups on other people. Now, here's another little thing. If you guys want to inspire your group, seriously inspire them, because there is a little trick to inspiring your group. Everybody says, well, is it the incredible motivation talks that you get and stuff like that? Sure, that could be inspiring. But if what you're saying is not matching what's going on, then you're not very inspiring. All the way to the way your waistline looks, all the way to the way your face looks, to what's happening around your life. Why was Mark Hughes inspiring? Because, one, my pitch. But pretty soon, everything that I was pitching, I started doing. When I first got Herbalife started, all I had was a white jacket and a nice little pair of black pants and a red tie. And I felt it was so cool, that white jacket, those black little pants and that red tie. Oh, plus I had, in my little office, I had white carpeting. I don't know why I thought white carpeting was cool, because about 3 weeks into the program, everybody had stepped on it so much, the office really looked ugly, okay? But I had this beautiful, and by the way, for the very first time, about 6 months ago, after 16 years, I bought a white jacket again. with some black pants. But I'll tell you one thing I didn't get was a red tie, because I don't want to ever remember what that outfit was like again. And I kept wearing that outfit and wearing that outfit, and I finally got, and I was pitching, and I finally got myself a black velvet coat. I'll never forget getting that black velvet coat, and everybody in Herbalife all of a sudden had a black velvet coat. It was amazing. Doug was getting one, Dennis was getting one, and everybody's getting a black velvet coat all of a sudden, just because I had changed my clothes. And I never forget, I drove up in my brand new Eldorado, and all of a sudden everybody wanted brand new Cadillacs. See, I didn't just tell my group to go, go, go. I kept going myself. I always outproduced them at the meetings. I always brought more people to the meetings than they did. I always outsold more retail than they did. I was outdoing them at everything. Why? Because through example is how you're inspiring. If you want to just go out there and pitch, go ahead. But if you pitch and you start making things reality, you'll become inspiring. That is inspiring. What has inspired so many people around me? Mark Hughes keeps going. Then it was my very first condo. No, none of my guys had ever seen a beautiful condo. I had that little rinky-dink condo on the beach and stuff like that. But to me, it was like a giant mansion. That thing was big enough. I mean, we could fit that in my wife's bathroom today. Okay? But to me, it was like the biggest mansion that had ever been around. Okay? And pretty soon I had my first little condo, and I was very good at finagling everything, trust me. I mean, I was a master at making myself look better than I really was for very little money. And when I got that first condo, pretty soon my people started getting condos. And when I got my first house, my people started getting some of their first houses. When I got my very first Rolls Royce, some of my people started getting fancy cars. When I got my first mansion, some of my people now got mansions. Okay? So if you want to be inspiring, keep working on yourself and keep improving yourself. You heard it all said by every single person that was up here, okay? That you don't just tell your group, go. So it starts all the way down at the bottom. Alan was brilliant at talking to you about promotion. If you want to promote anything, guess what you do first? You don't just promote it. First, you qualify for the promotion yourself, and then you promote it. Because if you do it yourself, it's going to be more attractive to your people. So, you want lots of people to go on vacation. If you guys want to be on vacation, first get on vacation. You want lots of people to be on vacation? Qualify for vacation. And then show them the vacation. And pretty soon, a lot of your people will be on vacation. And pretty soon, all of those people will show their people about vacation. And pretty soon, that's how your check gets going bigger and bigger and bigger. So if you want things to get better, keep improving yourself. And that means for all you guys. That means for all of you guys. You want to get bigger? You got to become bigger yourself. So you don't just go group go. Go group go. You keep going yourself. And let me tell you, it will go. How do you keep inspired? I can't remember who said it in the meeting and stuff like that. It was Alan Lorenz, okay? He says, the way I keep inspired is from the new stories. New stories meaning he's getting new retail. Stories meaning he's getting new distributors. Stories meaning he's getting new supervisors. When that's happening to him, he keeps inspired. But if you just keep trying to squeeze your organization into $1 million without keeping inspired yourself by the own amount of retail you do, the own amount of recruiting you do, the own amount of supervisors you're breaking, then you're trying to squeeze your organization into $1 million by telling them, you guys do it, I don't got to do it. Can you make a little bit of money that way? Yes. Can you even make a lot of money that way? Yes. It's even worse when you're making a lot of money that way, and then all of a sudden you go on no-go mode. And you just tell your group, go, you got to go, you got to go. And in the beginning, you went yourself. And then pretty soon all you're doing to your group is saying, go, 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 and that makes you more money. Go, 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 and that makes you more money. and pretty soon for the next couple of years, that's all you're doing is saying, go, 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 go. And pretty soon you start getting dissatisfied. And pretty soon you start saying, I wonder why my check's not going up. And I wonder why it's not growing. Because you can only get so much out of your group. Your group at some point is going to kind of get to where they want to be. And go, 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 you can't squeeze any more out of it. So if you want to get some more out of it, you got to become more yourself. And that means constant retailing, constant recruiting, constant breaking supervisors. Because here's another thing you got to do every year. Write this in your notes. Replenish that you lose. You are going to lose a certain amount of people each year. You are. No matter how successful you are, no matter how big your check's getting, no matter how big it's getting, every year you start over at the beginning. And you've got to replenish a certain amount of people that you lost to stay even. And then if you want it to get bigger, you've got to do more than that the following year just to make it become more. So don't get into a mode here of only go, go, go to your group. What you do is go, go, go on yourself. And let me tell you something, you'll have a business. I can't wait till I can get someone up on the stage and they're the first person in Herbalife that says, I've got a business that does $1 billion a year. Can't wait. I can't wait. Someone's going to be able to say that deal. Someone's going to say, Mark Hughes is pitching $1 billion. Now I'm pitching a $5 billion. There is going to be a distributor up here someday that says, my organization did $1 billion last year. Unbelievable. There's some people thinking about it. There are a couple of people around here that do think about that. In order for Herbalife to become what it needs to become, and in order for it to be the kind of business we all want it to become, we have to all be in business together. You can build your businesses a couple of ways. And you can make money some different ways in Herbalife. But at some point, building it wrong is going to catch up with you. And the only thing that's going to happen is that because of the way that Herbalife is, and because there's more good than there ever is the bad, there's only one thing that ends up happening. It catches up to you and it forces you out the door. It's the only thing that can possibly happen. And so what I mean by that is I know some of you are from some other countries, and then you're in some countries that are in a pretty fast go mode right at the moment. And sometimes you need to start thinking a little bit differently. And here's the way I'd like you to think. Every time you're making a decision, every time you're going to do something in your business, I'd like you to think, is this what Mark Hughes would be doing? Is that what Mark would do? Is that what he would do? There's some things that happen, like for instance in France, okay, that goes outside the business that help mess up the business in France. France was on a major go, go, go mode. And guess what a lot of the guys over there were doing? They figured out that it would be a lot faster to get their organizations to the 246 that if everybody just sold the downline product at 50%. All of it. No retail, no wholesale, no nothing. Everybody gets it at 50% off on the first, second, third level, all the way from the time you get the guy in to the people they get in, to the people they get in. Everybody's getting it at 50% because they figured we do all this incredible stuff for Herbalife twice as fast. And guess what happened? Right down the tubes. Because guess what happened to some of the new people as this major roller coaster was going on? Some people didn't make any royalties fast enough. Some people didn't make any wholesale fast enough. And by thinking that they were doing something incredible for their organizations, all of a sudden they had some people that weren't making the royalties fast enough, that weren't making the wholesale fast enough, and all of that stuff crashed and burned for them because they got outside of doing what the normal is. They started taking it into the newspapers and selling it for 50% off. Guess what that did to France? It started messing up the entire, not only organization for them, but it messed up the organization for all of you. And we're in business together. When you do something, you don't just do it to yourself. You do it to yourself and the person sitting next to you. And you not only do it to yourself and the person sitting next to you, but you do it to your uplines and you do it to your downlines. And by golly, you need to not steal from anybody. Your downlines, your uplines, or anybody else in the room. See, that's something you need to know about Herbalife. Because you know what? There's a lot of other companies out there that they'd say, you know what? So what, it hurt a few people. Look at all the business we're getting in. I don't care if it's the loneliest little housewife that got into the company to the top president's team member in this organization. And we have gotten rid of some of the top people in our company in the past. And it don't make no difference. Principles are principles. And this company is going to sparkle, and it's going to shine, and we're going to be respectable, and we're going to do it the Herbalife way. And so when you think about these things, I want you to think about, would Mark Hughes be making this decision? Because let me tell you something, the decisions you're going to make are not only going to be the Mark Hughes consequences, number one, but number two, doing it the Mark Hughes way for year after year after year after year. And that's what you want, gang. It may be a little more difficult in the beginning. It may take you a little longer to get to where you want to go. But let me tell you something. In the end, you will win. You will win. Just as important, we will win. And that's got to do with all the integrity of the company. That means out of line buying, okay? Where someone comes to you and they want to buy it from you because it's a little bit easier. There's a lot of tendency sometimes to want to go ahead and sell it to the person, okay? Maybe their supervisor dropped out and stuff like that, and they come to you and they're begging you, geez, I'd like to buy some of your inventory. Remember, when you're selling it to that person, guess who you're stealing money from? Their first upline, their second upline, and their third line, and everybody upline that's in the 246 check. Stealing is what it's called. Stealing. I want you to think about that. And we're not going to allow for stealing. Not going to allow it. See, these rules and regulations that we've got in our company, in our plan, are to protect every single person in this room, no matter who you are. To the lowest little housewife in the company, to the auto mechanic that just gets started, that's got grease stains all over his cans, to the top person in the company with his Brooks Brothers suit. We don't care. Ethics are ethics. And we got to not only protect us, okay, but you got to protect everybody in the room, because as a unit we can become 5 billion. As a unit we can get to 10 billion. As a unit we can get to 15 billion. And we'll be the kind of companies that we want our children to respect and their children to respect. So when you move and become a leader in the company, you got to move as a leader with integrity in all parts of the plan, even if it's a little bit slower, because the integrity of what we're doing in Herbalife has not only paid off now, but what it's going to pay off for us in the years to become is going to be nothing short of mind-boggling. Mind-boggling. Trust me, they've been going on for 16 years, and this industry is only becoming more popular every single year. See, the multi-level industry is just becoming a way of doing business. In the future, it's going to become the way of doing business, not only here, but around the globe. It's going to be amazing as we affect the globe. Do you realize that Herbalife's only in just a very small section of the globe at this moment? We're only in a population right now of about 1,400,000,000 people. There's still almost 4 billion people that we're not even involved with yet in other countries. And when we get to those 4 billion and these other companies crash and burn, guess who's going to be standing there as the company that's got the integrity, the company that's got honesty, the company that our children want to be involved with? Guess who's going to cash in on it? Us. Now let me teach you the marketing plan and teach you how to teach the new marketing plan, okay? And within a very quick period of time here, you're not even going to need to do this. Just sign the application, check comes in the mail, okay? This is you up here at the top. You've done your full 2,500, so you are allowed to earn 5%. Now write this in your notes. You always, on your first 3 levels, earn 5% no matter how much volume they do. Okay? So on A, they did 2,500. You earned how much? 5%. Okay? B did 2,500. He's on the second level. You get 5%. C does $500 worth of business. Okay? On C, you earn 5%. Okay? Why? Because he's your third level. Get it down in your brain. No matter what happens on your first 3 levels, you always earn 5%. But normally, this guy would have cut you out of royalties. So we skipped down here a generation, and D, who's on your 4th generation, did 2,500. C, who's at 500, who's only at 1%, got 1% on D. The difference of that 1% is how much? 4% now goes to who? The first person, you. Okay? Once this person blocked you before, okay? Now you're skipping a generation and getting to earn on your 4th level, okay? C earned 1% on D because they only did 500. That 4% points comes up to you and goes on your royalty check. That 4% that goes on your royalty check, if you were at 800 and you earn, let's say 5% of 2,500 is it's $125. Okay. If you were at 900 points, and this was implemented, and the 4% rolled up to you, and you got 125 more points, you now got your very first month of what? Get Team. But now let's take a little bit more wild example. Okay? This is you up here at the top. And you do your 2,500. A did 2,500. On your first level, you always earn how much? 5%. B did 2,500. You always earn how much? 5%. Okay? C did 500. Okay? You get to earn how much? 5%. But because of C doing 500, what do you get to do now? Start going down to the first 3 people that hit 2,500. D did 500. C earned how much on D? 1%. The difference of that is how much? 4% goes to who? You. E did 500. D earned how much on E? The difference of 1 and 5 is how much? 4. 4 goes to who? You. E does 500. Okay? E did 500. D gets how much on E? 1%. 4% goes to you. F did 500. Okay? E earned how much on F? 1%. 4% goes to you. G does 500. He gets 1%. 4% goes to you. H down here does 10,000. Okay? G earned how much on H? 4%? In other words, that $400 goes to you. Now, watch how incredible this is. All right? Watch how incredible this is. First of all, under the normal marketing system, you would have earned 5%, 5%, 5%. C is over here doing 500, and you're looking down this line, and all of a sudden you got this person down here doing 10,000. And what's your feelings about C? Exactly. You become mean, nasty, irritable individuals that are dreaming at night that you should be getting the money because you're down there working with H. Notice that it ended at H, Hughes plan. Okay? And now what you got is you say, no problem, C. Keep doing your 500. No problem. Now you love C, and guess what? C loves you. Because you're not bugging him anymore. Okay? That's great. Okay? Because before, you were either trying to get him to do more business, or you were in the process of trying to kill him some way, or to get him to bounce his check at the order department so that the volume could... Now you're in love with D, you're in love with E, you're in love with F, you're in love with G, and you really love H. Now, is that awesome or what? Is it retroactive for the last 15 years?
Wait for the last 5 minutes.
No, sorry, it isn't. Now, that does bring up a question, though. There are people that you pitched last month that you said that had to do 2,000 last month, 2,000 this month, okay? So anybody who's in that position, we don't want to change gears on them. So if they did 2,000 their first month last month, they can do 2,000 this month because that's the way you pitched them. We don't want to change your pitch and make liars out of you. Okay, so they got a freebie. But starting June 1st, everybody has to do 2,500 2 months in a row with 1,000 unencumbered. Okay, This show will continue to repeat all month long on HBN so everybody can get clear on it. There's a mailer that's going out everywhere to every single supervisor that's going to get it. Everybody will be getting it probably in about a week. And in Europe, you'll probably get it right around the 6th of the month. Okay? And so it's $2,500 also to get your royalty checks July 15th. Now, here's about what we've been able to assess what's going to happen, okay, as a result of this marketing plan change, okay? Between the roll-ups and the extra volume that will be done, okay, but we figured out that there's around 200 to 300 from this program that will immediately in July, go to the GET team. Immediately. Okay? About 200 to 300 are going to go from World to GET. Now you could just imagine your World team members that have been sweating trying to get to GET team, what this is going to do for their attitudes. Okay? And I told you when we did the meetings and I told you when we did the broadcasts that in some cases this wasn't going to make huge amounts of differences for people. You know, in some of your guys' checks, this is going to mean a $200 difference. But the $200 difference, if it gets them on the GET team, makes a big difference. Okay? So we're going to have about 200 to 300 new attitudes running around the company. Quick. Okay? We've looked at it, and it looks like there's about 100 people that will immediately go to the GET team, to the Millionaire team. First month. And what is the first month? The worst month. Because it's always the worst the first month it happens. And it looks like immediately there's going to be somewhere between 30 to 50 people that go from Millionaire to GET team. Most of you are sitting in this room. The President's team. Millionaire to President's team. You'll go. For sure. You could just imagine what's going to happen in the company with 30 to 50 all at one time going to the President's team. What's going to happen to this company? That's never happened in the history of the business, period. Okay? And when that happens, trust me, there's going to be some serious new attitude in the company. Okay? And there's also going to be a whole lot of more excitement. And there's also going to be a lot more people that instantly get interested in training their organization at all levels, okay? And that's going to help the company more than most of the stuff that we're even talking about. Doing more work, okay, to make more money, okay? And we're going to be talking a lot about that concept. Now, also what's going to come along with this so that you don't get confused, okay, is a royalty roll-up statement, okay? You can't see this very well, but what will happen here is you'll get your regular statement, okay, and then another statement that comes and it says, here's John Doe. He's on your 5th level. He did 800 points. He earned 2%, okay, and you got 3%, and that's your roll-up money, okay? Here's Jane Seymour. She's on your 25th level, okay? And she did 500 points, and you got 4% off of her points, and she's on this level. This will not only give you guys very good information on what your different levels will do, but it also will give you who you ought to really go after and try to get up and get some more business going, okay? So there's a lot of stuff that's going to happen from this statement. Then you'll get a summary statement here. Like this person here, we took their royalty statement, okay? This says that their royalty override, this is an actual person's check, but we're not going to tell you who it is. Their royalty check was 1,275 points, and their roll-up money, okay, is listed separately so that they know what's happening with the new marketing plan, was $929. So they went from $1,275 to $2,200 the first month. That didn't include one thing, though. That was only the free money. It didn't include taking the 2,000 points, everybody on the statement that did 2,000 points, and make them do 2,500, which is another sum of money, which might have got them very close to their first month of millionaire team. Okay? And then what happens is, this is not even counting what's going to happen on our production bonuses. Okay? You guys getting this? Hey, this is serious. Okay? And the worst part of this is going to happen next month. Okay? And we're talking about 200 to 300 new gets, 100 new mills, 30 to 50 new prez. Now, if we take the information we learned here this weekend, and we all went to work during the month of June, then we really see some action. Okay? We wouldn't see a lousy 300 people going from world to get. If we all went to work and went crazy and went bananas, okay, we could get it to 600 or 700 people that go to get it in 1 month. And we could take it and go to 200 to 300 people on the millionaire team. And how about 100 people going to the president's team in 1 month? How about that? So, let's talk. Yes.
All I can say is when the last marketing plan, by the way, my name's Amartat Cohen, and I'm from Denver, Colorado, right? And when the last marketing plan change went into effect, which was in 1992, I was on millionaire team, just barely hanging in there. And the next thing I knew, my check, which was about $5,000 at that point, went to over $15,000 the next month. So that's what happened to me. Incredible. And that was just the first month. And then 6 months later, I was making over $50,000 a month, and I was on the president's team. So the first month was definitely the worst month. There's no doubt about that. Because it takes a few months and everyone else starts seeing what's happening to their checks and they start working harder and the whole thing goes completely out of control. Anyway, my question is, Mark, what do we do with someone this month that does, that's been pitched already and does only 2,000 points? That means he has to do what next month to qualify as a supervisor?
If you've pitched a person this month that's doing 2,000, then next month, they do 2,000.
So the last time that a person can do 2,000 points and be a supervisor is this month?
That's right.
Okay.
That's absolutely right. Good question. It wouldn't be fair at this point to do it any other way. You know, I mean, we could say, go ahead and change on the guy, but you guys have already pitched him on a particular deal. We can't back out on it now. So you've told them 2,000 2 months in a row. They do 2,000 this month. They can do 2,000 next month. Okay? Starting the 1st of June, if you're going to start qualifying for supervisor, it's how much next month? 2,500 with how much unencumbered? 1,000. And the following month, 2,500 with 1,000 unencumbered. Okay?
You said that the roll-up money goes to the next 3 people that do 2,500 volume. Is that correct?
Right.
So you get paid on your first 3?
You always get paid
on your first
5% on your first 3.
And then on everything until you hit the next 3 people that do 2,500.
Well, it depends on the circumstances.
Okay.
Okay? If the first 3 people that you hit did 2,500, you've already gone through the first 3. Okay? If each one of these guys do 2,000, each person that doesn't do 5%, you always get to skip down generations until you keep going until you hit the first 3 that do 2,500. Now, does that mean that you could go, you're at 2,500, this person does 500, you get how much? 5%. This person does 1,000, you get how much? 5%. This one does 2,500. 5%. Okay? Now, let's do another one. Okay? Let's do that one over. This guy does 2,000. You get well, how much? This one does 1,000. You get how much? This one does 500. Okay. Then this one down here does 500. Okay. This one earned 1% on this one, so 4 goes up. That keeps rolling down. Let's say you go down in another 8 generations, and you get the one person that hits 2,500. There's 1. Then let's say you got 3 more people of 500. You keep skipping down till you get to another 2,500. That's 2. Then it skips another 5 generations of 500, and you hit the 3rd one. Because listen to this here. Okay, you're thinking, how is this possible? Okay? Well, these 3 people are all going to earn 5%. Okay? So those 3 people, okay, those are the ones that you get stuck on. Okay? Anything else in between is all got a percentage that's got a difference. That difference continues to roll up. Okay? But you still get to pass a generation because there's all these people in between that aren't getting the money. It's got to go to the first 3 people upline that do 2,500. So it goes up. Everybody who does 2,500, the first 3 2,500s are always going to get the difference money. All the way down to the first 3 people that do 2,500, no matter where they're at. Goes up and down. It's amazing the way this thing works. I mean, truly amazing, okay? Now, teach it this way because it's very simple. If you start getting much more complicated than that, you're going to get into a lot of questions and answers that start becoming very difficult because of the difference between who earned on what person at what time, okay? I would keep it like this. Keep it simple to the questions that we've talked about here tonight and say, listen, don't worry. Just do this. Be friendly to everybody in your organization. Tell them all, I love you. Let them do what they're going to do. And then remember, you're going to make money on everybody, all the way down to the first 3 people that hit the full volume requirement. And in the statement, we'll tell you who you got it on all the way down, and you'll know exactly what happened. But what you're going to want to do is make sure that you work first line, so you go down line as deep as it can possibly go. And now you don't not only get to do that the first month, you can do that every month. For how long? Ever. I want you guys to dream. Just this. Okay? All you got to think about is the first 3 levels, you earn 5%. If anybody in there on the 3 levels does less than 2,500, you get to start skipping down. Anybody that you skip down on, anything that they earn on percentage, the difference in the percentage rolls up to you. Okay? Till you get to 3 people at 2,500. Okay? Unless the first 3 people in line were 2,500, would you skip down? No. Would anything roll up? No. Okay? Because the first 3 did 2,500. Okay? And with that, that's going to increase 2,500. You guys think about how many people you got doing 2,000. I know one thing for me. The biggest thing I'm thinking about is not so much all these different levels. Okay? All these different levels is great. All this different roll-up stuff, wonderful. Let me tell you what I'm thinking about. I got 20,000 people doing 2,000 a month. Okay? Now, 20, I don't know about you, but when you got 20,000 people a month, that could go to $500 more a month. Okay? Which equals $10 million next month. And that's the worst month. You get pretty excited. So what I'd be thinking about, okay, sure, the zeros are great, okay, sure, the roll-up's great, but what I'd be thinking about is we need to do some more business, okay, And we need to get to work like we've never gotten to work before in our entire lives. We need to pitch like we've never pitched in our entire life. We need to act like we've never acted in our entire life. We need to go like we've never gone in our entire life. Because here's one of the things we've got going for ourselves. First of all, this marketing plan is going to make a change in a lot of people's checks July 15th. Now, some of those are going to be $50 changes. To a guy that's doing $100, is a $50 change significant? Yes. Okay? And you need to point out to them how significant that is. That's called a 50% increase in your royalty override check. Okay? And if they have more business, just think of how it could affect their check. Okay? So what you need to talk to them about is how exciting that $50 is. Okay? And for the person, some of them are going to get $200 increases, some of them are going to get $1,500 increases, and we're going to have people that have $5,000 increases, and we're going to have people that have $8,000 increases, and this doesn't even include the production bonuses. Okay? And this doesn't include the 500 points more we're talking about where we're going to make our real money. So what we need to do, gang, we've got an opportunity here, a window of opportunity called that nobody else in the history of marketing has ever done this with their royalty system. So if there was ever a time to go, when would it be? Now, okay? Not next week, not next year, okay? Because let me tell you what needs to happen with this program. There's going to be a jump in the checks anyway, okay? That means you can run around, my check gone up as a result of the plan. Now, if we'll go to work, we can say, look how much it went up. It's really out of control. And then if we'll work harder than that the next month, we can say it's really unbelievable because now it's starting to kick in. And if we'll go ballistic in the next month and really go crazy, then we can say it's completely out of control. And then if we'll go absolutely bananas in the month of September and our checks get bigger, guess what the checks start doing to everybody? It starts waking your group up, okay? So what we got to concentrate on, okay, and this is what this whole deal is going to be about this weekend, is having us jumpstart the program. That means us going back to work like we've never gone to work in our entire life. It means going absolutely crazy with recruiting like we've never recruited in our entire life. It means pitching our downline like we've never pitched in our entire life. And it means us getting our check up quicker than we ever have in our life, so life will be easier. So that you can go looky, so that your check matches the pitch, okay? And when your check matches the pitch, guess what happens to your organization that you guys have been out there going, go group, go, group, go, okay? Right?